Today I thought I'd talk about dealing with toxic people, being microbullied at school. I've changed school over 5 times in my whole life, and I've met a handful of nasty, snaky people, some of which were my close friends, that later you realize that wasn't really the case, and I should have known better, but so much learning has been done, so much experience has taken place that I would never repeat the same mistake again. And by sharing this advice with you, I really hope that maybe this will help you out. This is tips on how to deal with these kinds of people, how to deal with jealous people, how to deal with people that tease you. So microbullying, I would define as a subtle form of bullying. It's not very obvious to an outsider. It's not even as obvious maybe to you, but you feel drained, you feel exhausted when this person interacts with you. They make you feel less than. I don't think any forms of bullying should be tolerated in general, but these are things that you wouldn't necessarily want to go to a teacher with. And these are more signs of teasing, gossiping about you, judging, keeping you isolated. A lot of microbullying that I personally experienced was actually coming from my best friends. I was a very submissive kid at school, and so I would attract these very dominant, stubborn people who would have it their way or the highway kind of mindset. And a lot of time I would be judged by what I'd wear to school. I would be made fun of. I would be not allowed to read a certain collection of books. And all of that is microbullying. A lot of that is power play, is an assertion of dominance that isn't right. So microbullying is not the most obvious form of bullying, and this video is about dealing with these kinds of people, how to respond, what is actually going on in their mind, what is the actual power dynamic here. And if you relate to any of this, girl, I feel you. Like, I think so many people do experience this, are currently experiencing this right now. You're not alone. This is not a lonely journey. Like, we're all in this together, and I promise you it does get better. So from my experience, I've written down a couple of tips, tricks, mindset shifts that hopefully you find helpful. Okay, first thing I want to put out there is if you feel targeted in any way by anyone, you are literally the main character. You're the main character in their life. You're the main character in your own life. You're the main character in objective reality, because if you feel targeted, that means people are focusing on you. You're the focus in someone else's life. Think about the amount of movies that are based on a main character getting bullied, and all the bullies are actually just the side characters of the main plot, which is you. This story is about you, okay? You're in a movie. Your character literally inspires movie producers because that is the individual that interests people, not the bullies. The bullies are so predictable. The reality is you're living rent-free in someone's head, and they despise that, okay? To be targeted by someone, whether that's a girl, whether that's a boy, you take up so much of the space in their head. It's almost cute. Like, you're so obsessed with me, like, take on this mindset of, I feel sorry for them because of how much they must be thinking about me right now and just being distracted by it. People talk about you because when they talk about themselves, no one listens. And that's just the truth. Right, number 2, we're gonna shift our focus. We're gonna level up. We're gonna outgrow the room that we're currently in. You're gonna focus so hard on your goals that everyone else, everything else becomes completely irrelevant to you. You're gonna treat school as something that owes you big time for having gone through all this toxicity around you for so long, because school actually takes up like a decent chunk of your life. You're gonna make sure you come out of that with a first class ticket to whatever you wanna do next, whether that's university, whether that's a job. You're gonna get your head down, you're gonna revise, you're gonna ace those exams, you're gonna make the best out of your academic experience, because why not make the most of it while you're there? Trust me, when you're successful, everyone wants to be your friend. And it takes some people a little bit longer to realize how important success is in life, which makes their journeys a little bit harder, but everyone realizes that in the end, that if someone is successful, there's something about them. I want to be your friend. I want to know what you're up to. I want to know what you're doing. Of course, you can't always trust these kinds of people, but at least you know you're in the right position, because if people are being drawn to you, if people are attracted to you, if you are this magnetic, you're doing something right. And unfortunately, a lot of these people that are bullied in school go on to be these rich, successful, famous people. And then these bullies and these people that used to judge them, make fun of them, crawl up, try to take some credit, try to get their attention, try to win them over. But at that point, none of that matters to to you. You already have a very small, close circle of people that you trust, that people that you value, respect, and that value, respect, and love your company in return. So my main point here is to focus on your academic success, because even if you don't necessarily want university after school and you just want to get straight into work and start making money, having gone through university, having achieved a degree opens up so many doors for you, because no matter what you studied, having a bachelor's shows your discipline, shows your commitment to something. A lot of job applications require that as an entry level. Look, unless you know exactly what you want to do in life and you know for a fact that university cannot offer you that, and you're already making some kind of money without having graduated from school, then okay. But I really, really encourage people to keep their options open, keep as many doors unlocked as possible. Look, if a hiring manager is stuck between two candidates who are very, very similar, they're both very strong applicants and options for the company, but only one of them has a bachelor's degree, of course, there's much higher chance that they're going to go with the one with the degree, because now it opens up a whole new world of skills that shows this person has just by having gone through university, just by having completed those 3 years of education. Right, number 3 is something that I'm going to ask you to take my word on, because you're not going to see this until you're past it, until you're in the future. So take this as a sign from your future, me coming to you and telling you to trust me that the amount of character development you're going to undergo, that you're currently undergoing, is going to be impeccable. You're going to be this funny, empathetic, caring individual. These are all the things that you will gain by having gone through people that are toxic, by people that constantly make fun of you, by people that are constantly draining your energy by just being around you. Humor is a massive defense mechanism you're going to gain from this, which it's not necessarily coming from something good, but it's going to end up being good, because humor, one, is a sign of intelligence, and humor is not necessarily going to be something that you develop in that moment, but afterwards, you're going to gain this ability to laugh at yourself, to take life less seriously, to tease others back, okay, in a playful way, because you're also now empathetic. You also know how it feels to be bullied, so you would never bully someone who doesn't deserve, I'm going to say, because I would bully the people that bully me back, but that's me talking now. Of course, in the moment, I could have never put myself in that position. I was so shy. I was so quiet. I let people walk all over me, which has only strengthened me today. I would never allow that now, because you now are so good at spotting signs early of toxic people. You never even let it get to that level. You're so selective now of the people that you surround yourself. At school, you don't really have that choice. School, you're put in this pool of people that you didn't decide to be surrounded by. But when you're older, you do choose your friends. You do choose who you actively go and hang out with who you create plans with. So it's a lot easier to create those boundaries when you're older and not allow people to pass them. Number 4, how to actually respond to hate and to teasing. Okay, first of all, you cannot get defensive. You cannot snap back. You cannot emotionally react, because the minute you show them that you can crack, that they've cracked you, that they've gotten under your skin, oh my God, the amount of satisfaction that this gives them, the amount of power is incredible. Like, they live off of this. This is like blood to a mosquito. Okay, you cannot allow this. You cannot react. 3 things I recommend here. One of them being a little bit maybe risky, spicy, a little toxic back, but playful. But first of all, silence. Silence is the most boring answer, but let me tell you, it is the most effective solution to this, because if you don't respond, if you don't react, you're going to bore them, okay? You don't want to be their source of entertainment. You don't want to give them another reason to talk to you or to react to something that you said back. Second option only, I would say, works once with the same people, but if you're in class and they are annoying you, you put your hand up, okay? And ideally there's a teacher there, obviously. So you put your hand up. Obviously, this isn't when the situation's that serious, of course, like, be super careful. Like, this can, of course, trigger them further. But I'm just saying, if it's a little bit more playful, but genuine, like, it's a little rude now, like, relax. You put your hand up, you get the teacher's attention. The teacher's like, yes, Melissa, what did you want? And at that point, they're starting to sweat. They're like, oh my God, is she gonna tell on me? You asked to go to the bathroom. And this, I want to say, is a very playful power play, where if you have that confidence to do that, and if it's safe enough, genuinely, like, you are the best judge of that, but if it's safe enough that they were only playfully teasing you, but you still don't like it, obviously, that is a good way to just put them in their place. And next time they do it, don't use this trick, because obviously it's predictable now. I'm just wondering that if you were to fight back, could this be the way you do it? Because it kind of makes you look really cool. Like, it kind of makes you feel like you don't give a shit. It makes it look like two can play their game. Oh yes, and third thing is to ask them to repeat it louder. Play dumb. Sorry, I didn't hear that. Can you repeat that? Sorry. My hearing. But like intentionally dumb that it annoys them. The more dumb you can make them feel, the better. And by the way, silence does that fastest because they feel ignored, right? You look so unbothered by them that their presence feels not enough. You could also reply to them with like genuine curiosity. Like, why would you say something like that? What makes you speak like that? Like, who speaks to you like that at home? Okay, that's a little toxic, I'm not gonna lie, but just be curious. After they make a side comment at you, you try to keep that conversation going by asking genuine questions like, oh, why would you say that? They don't actually want to have that conversation with you because one, it doesn't win them popularity points. Like usually people that make these side comments to make other people laugh is to gain those popularity points. Their goal isn't to have that conversation with you and to keep conversing about that comment that they made. They just want to make that comment at your expense, right? But if they know that you're the type of person who consistently does that after they make a comment, who consistently picks up on it and talks to them and asks them questions and is kind of annoying, let's be real, but they will think twice about making that comment to you again because they don't want to go through all that. Because the minute they enter that conversation with you, they are now the source of entertainment for their friends. So they are now in a more neutral and weaker position because you brought them into that. Not because you are weak or neutral, but because they have portrayed you as that to their friends. And now that they're involved so closely to that in that conversation with you, they are now on that level that they've put you at, that you've now pulled them towards. So they're going to think twice next time they try to do that. Right. Number 6, practice confident body language. There is body language out there that can make someone look like a target. Okay. If you have two people, one is scrunched up, arms, shoulders crossed, bad posture, looking on the ground constantly, they look like an immediate target and you want to be as far from that as possible. So when you're walking down the hall, don't scurry, don't rush, don't be so fast paced. It looks like you're literally running from something. Anything that makes you look like you're not happy to take up space can make you look weak, can make you look small, can make you feel like you don't have your shit together. Most effective things that you can do for confident body language is number 1, where you're looking. Do not look on the floor when you're walking. Okay, look across. Look where you're going. Look at the direction you're taking. Don't look at the ground. What's so interesting there? You want to see an ant? So confident body language, even if you're small and short, it is to have a straight back, shoulders back, walk slow, talk slow. Obviously not like sloth pace, but you know what I'm talking about. Like be confident in what you're saying, be confident in who you are, be confident in what you're doing. That takes a little bit of a slower speed. You don't want to make mistakes, right? Okay, number 7 is that you should always have at least one person in your corner. Whether that's a friend, whether that's a teacher, someone needs to know what's going on. Someone needs to know how you feel because, let me tell you something. It is so easy to manipulate yourself, to trick your brain into the fact that it's either your fault that this is all happening or that you've made everything up. It's not actually how it seems to be. And the most dangerous thing is that you assume that they would be the ones to do that, right? The people that bully you or tease you. If it gets far enough that they'll be like, what are you lying about? This never happened. I didn't do that. No, the biggest threat is you tricking yourself. Because the minute that happens, that's it. You can't even learn from that experience because you think it never happened. That is the most dangerous. So to have one person in your corner, as I said, whether that's a friend, whether that's a nice teacher, okay, that knows how to handle that situation, doesn't embarrass you in front of the class, have that person because one day you might need a witness. It's really, really beneficial to have someone who knows the reality of the situation. Go to them, express what you've been going through, and communicate what it is that you want from them because sometimes you might want of reporting to be done. Sometimes you might just want support. Sometimes you might just want validation and care and empathy. So whatever it is that you want, communicate that because the worst thing that someone could do is assume you want something that you never actually asked for or wanted in the first place. And that's where those issues arise that make people think, that's why I'm not going to tell anyone. No, tell someone, but communicate what it is that you want, okay? And do it to someone that you trust, that's someone that won't override what you've communicated. Number 8, when I was 11, 12 years old, I went to a British school and my English wasn't the best. So anytime there was presentations or class debates or, public conversations happening and I wouldn't understand complex words or I couldn't express my point or I just couldn't understand what the teacher was asking of me. So I would just go still and be like, I don't know, or say something completely not related to what she's asked. That would a lot of the time trigger girls judging me, teasing me, bullying me, talking, like whispering. I know they were whispering about how stupid I was and things like this, but it's because my level of English at that age wasn't the same as theirs. Now that I look back, what they judged was not necessarily my lack of knowledge or stupidity. It was my difference. It was the difference that I brought to the table that they weren't so familiar with. Those people that cannot accept difference are simply underprivileged, because the most successful and privileged people who are obviously still in touch with the world are those that are successful enough to be able to afford to travel and see difference in other countries and accept the beauty of that difference. Whether that's academic level, whether that's physical appearances, whether that's culture, tradition, or religion. So anyone who makes you feel less than because you are different is simply underprivileged. And I feel sorry for them because they don't know how to react to the unfamiliar. They don't know anything that is different to them. The minute you realize why they react the way they do, whether that's laughing in your face, spreading gossip or rumors about you, and that it's because of their small minds and their inability to comprehend difference, let me tell you, that is the moment you eliminate any form of competition that there is between the two of you. It's the biggest and most important mindset shift that you can adopt, and that realization alone can bring all the peace and satisfaction you need to just feel sorry for them. And once you truly feel sorry for them, it's a very subtle energy that you will give off with very subtle gestures and actions that will make them feel so inferior to you. It doesn't need to be spoken. It's literally just the understanding of how much pity you have for them that will make you behave a certain way around them with more kindness, even, shall I say, that will make them feel so below you. And that is all you need to elevate yourself in that position. It's just that subtle understanding that they might be truly unhappy people, or people that just haven't experienced enough of life to be able to treat people with respect. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please subscribe, and I'll see your better versions next time.